Hello, this is Bright Spark and welcome to part 14 of Rift of Shadows. Let's get right into it. Twig Branch couldn't help but think this was all too similar to the first time she came to the clans. Finleap led her almost the exact same route she'd come with Alderhar and Needletail all of those moons ago, but this time was a bit more fun. Finleap seemed to want Twig Branch to embrace the happier bits of life and become more trusting, but he didn't fully know her. They journeyed through the meadows and through giant two-leg places. They hadn't come across any significant cats, but met a few loners a couple of times and briefly chatted. They'd also seen evidence of a fairly large group of cats inside of a small forest and two-leg place, but strong sense of dog were all throughout the territory. Twig Branch and Finley began to think that the dogs had drove the cats out. It was interesting to say the least, but their journey was mostly just walking and hunting and talking. Finleap was really an interesting cat who had expanded upon his whole entire life. He recounted some SkyClan cats that were at his small makeshift camp, and he spoke very loyally about his clan. Then one day he caught Twig Branch off guard. "So, before we found you, how were you without SkyClan?" Twig Branch hesitated. She hated thinking about that part of her life, of its horrific end. Finleap could see the troubled look on her face and reassured that she didn't really have to talk about it. She appreciated him gently. "I might as well mention my family, though," she thought. "My mother escaped while my father stayed to fight off as much as the kin as he could, mainly Darktail." She went on about how Pebbleshine had left the area and raised her and her sister. "A sister?" Finleap asked. "Yeah, her name is Violet." "Where is she?" "I don't know if she's dead or not. I think Darktail captured her, and I don't know what could have happened after that. If only Twig Branch hadn't ran away, maybe her sister could still be alive. Hey, while we're out there, we'll keep an eye out, just in case." "One more thing," Twig Branch hastily said. "There's a cat named Earth. He's been such a close friend to us. I would consider him kin. He and my sister are close. Have you heard anything about him?" Finleap shook his head. "Nobody I know is named Earth." He pressed against her shoulder reassuringly. "It'll be okay. We'll find them and bring the kin to justice. That's what your little prophecy said, right?" Twig Branch had told him about the Clearing Sky prophecy, and Finleap had somehow determined that, with her help, they together would reunite SkyClan and take them to the other four clans. Twig Branch would love that, of course, but was it even possible? After a long journey, they finally approached the familiar trees of Twig Branch's old home, except it was different in almost every way. Sneaking throughout the territory, she could see the bits of forest that were still charred and had not begun to grow yet, but other places were starting to sprout again, though. Finleap said to think about the bright side with the forest, but Twig Branch only saw the destruction. If he knew her sister did this. Finleap, although to be capable, was quite lax with keeping quiet throughout the forest, so Twig Branch kept hissing at him to maybe settle down just a bit to avoid attention. He was just so happy. It was kind of cute to see him excited about reuniting with SkyClan. To be honest, she was too. But then she smelled something sour. It smelled like the kin's camp when she rescued Pebbleshine. She stopped and swung her head around. "They're here," she trembled. She wasn't used to being so scared of something, but Finleap helped a bit by saying encouraging things. "You'll smell them a lot throughout the territory, practically everywhere, but..." He paused. "It's stronger." He was cut off by a strong yowl. A gray cat tackled him with claws unsheathed, shocking both Twig Branch and Finleap. Twig Branch ran over, trying to fling the cat off of Finleap, but he had a powerful fighting technique she had almost never seen before. Eventually, it was just her and the kin cat locked in combat, with some minimal help from Finleap. The kin cat was winning. She slipped on her paws, eventually leading her to being pinned to the floor. "This is for the kin," the cat yelled as he raised his paw to the air for a killing blow. But he paused suddenly, ears perking. Paw steps were trampling the ground around them, and Twig Branch filled with dread. Could this be more of the kin? But the kin cat looked nervously around him, and suddenly was tackled by a blur of yellow fur. This cat who had tackled him was powerful, and two more of the new group of cats joined him. They flowed really well, taking turns with blows and eventually driving him off. Twig Branch was helped to her feet by Finleap, and she winced as a wound on her shoulder stung. She felt it sticky with blood. Finleap looked worried, and she could tell he was feeling guilty for not helping more. To be honest, he looked pretty beat too. Twigbranch turned to the group who had saved her. Familiar amber eyes stared back at her, but this cat, he was familiar? The other cats around him looked surprised. Finleap, you're back, one of them acknowledged. Do you know them? Twigbranch asked Finleap. He smiled. Yeah, these are the brothers. They help SkyClan. Twig? The yellow cat said. She winced as she stared at him. Yes, she answered. You're alive? He moved forward and rubbed against her in welcome. Then it struck her. Earth? She gasped. I don't go by that name anymore. I'm Tree. I don't care about trees or any of that. You're alive. He smiled proudly. You too. I thought Darktail caught you, and I got my warrior name. I'm Twigbranch now. Warrior name? He asked. As they snuck throughout the rest of the territory, Twigbranch told him about her journey to find the other clan territories. In turn, he explained how he'd helped find the brothers, but he seemed closed off whenever he mentioned meeting his father for the first time. He wouldn't elaborate on it. At last, they came across a large tree blocking the view of the camp in the corner of the two-leg den. This camp was cleverly hidden. We had to move a lot, but whenever I left, they must have found this place. Nice work, you guys. Finleap nodded to the brothers escorting them. I didn't think I'd miss you so much, Finleap, Tree smiled. Come on, you have to see my family and everyone else. Finleap dragged Twigbranch away from the escorts. Twigbranch exchanged a look with Tree. We'll talk more later, they seemed to say to each other. Finleap enthusiastically led her to a Tom strikingly similar to Finleap. She remembered him. Sandy Nose! Finleap greeted his father, and he ran up to him. Welcome back! You're looking better than we last saw you. Minus the shoulder wound. She shrugged. She caught up with the rest of Finleap's family and started forming a sort of how this camp was run. From what she gathered, SkyClan cats were seeked out, and once they were found, the brothers would help protect them and assist them with anything the recovering clan would need. So far, they had made tons of good progress. There was about maybe a little less half of ThunderClan amount in SkyClan, and the cats leading this clan so far was in fact Sandy Nose with the help from his mate Plumwillow. This was likely the reason Finleap was so widely popular with the clan. They decided they would be the best fit since Sharpclaw, the past deputy, was nowhere to be found. He could be dead for all they knew. So could the leader, who had also died whenever the kin first attacked. She felt a bit overwhelmed with all these new cats, but to be honest, it was a relief to see them. She had received help for her wound on the shoulder from the attack and got the chance to rest. After a while, Tree approached her. Hey, you want to talk more? Nodding her head, she sat taller. Yeah, what is it? I don't like talking about this, but what happened to my siblings and Violet. He stumbled on her sister's name. It was odd. She almost brought it up, but decided to tell him her truth instead. She had to tell herself to expect this if she ever saw him again. Tree, I'm so sorry for what happened, she apologized, feeling her pelt warm with emotion. It's all my fault. If I hadn't gone out to get Pebbleshine, none of this would have happened. Tree looked like he wanted to interrupt, but Twigbranch decided to keep going. I said I was going to get Pebbleshine since she was captured by the rogues. I was supposed to go, but she showed up at the last second. But Ice and Sunrise wanted to help me, so we all went to the kin's camp together. We were so close, but we were caught. Then a fire broke out. Sunrise and Ice were crushed by a blazing tree. I'm so sorry. Tree stared solemnly at the ground, silent. I managed to run away with Pebbleshine, but she got hit by a monster. Then, now it was getting hard to talk. She felt the familiar burn of guilt in her throat. Earlier, Violet wanted to come with us, but I sent her away. She must have thought she could help somehow. I don't know how, but she started the fire. I lost my temper, I got angry, and I left her to Darktail. I don't know what happened to her, and now that I found you, I'm gonna find my sister too. Tree's eyes narrowed, and for a moment she thought he was angry at her, but his eyes looked just as guilty as she was feeling. Twigbranch, he started, but he was interrupted by a brown tabby. Tree, I just got word from a patrol about a cat that could be in SkyClan. Good. Give me a minute, Mud. Tree tried dismissing him. Now, Tree, it's urgent. Tree sighed and got to his feet. They started leaving, but he paused to look back at Twigbranch. None of this is your fault, Twigbranch. You need to know that. Alright, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this, tell me in the comments what you think is going to happen next and what show this is inspired from. Bye!